You're 10 years old. Today is the day your life pivots on an axis you didn't even know existed until now. You've been dreaming of this moment, a fantasy woven from playground stories and the televised battles of the champions, but the reality is quieter, heavier. You slip on your brand new trainers, the rubber soles still squeaky clean on the polished floor of Professor Elm's laboratory. Before you are 3 Pokeballs, each one a gleaming pearl of potential, a self-contained universe of a future yet unwritten. This is not a choice between fire, water, or grass. This is a choice of a partner, a confidant, the first member of a new family you are about to create from scratch. That's you, standing there, a kid on the precipice of everything. And one of these creatures will be your constant, your first line of defense in a world that is suddenly much, much bigger than your hometown. You pick one. The click of the Pokeball opening is the starting pistol for the rest of your life. The small creature that emerges, blinking in the fluorescent light, looks at you with a mixture of confusion and curiosity. There's a connection, an invisible thread that spools out between you in that instant. This is your starter, your first Pokémon. And for a moment, the weight of the entire Kanto or Johto region, of all the paths and all the battles, feels impossibly large. So you take your first steps out of town, with your new partner trotting faithfully beside you. The world immediately loses its curated video game neatness. The path forward is not a clean dirt road, it's a rugged trail littered with stones and overgrown at the edges. The first patch of tall grass you encounter is not an exciting new area, it's a terrifying wall of green. The rustling within isn't a fun surprise, it's a source of genuine anxiety. You hear the cry of a wild Pokémon and your heart hammers against your ribs. Your starter, your level 5 companion, looks up at you, ready, but you can see the same apprehension in its eyes. Your first battle is not a clean, turn-based affair. It's a chaotic mess. You shout a command, your voice cracking. Your Pokémon tries to execute the move, but it's clumsy, imprecise. The wild Pidgey it's fighting is just as frantic, a flurry of feathers and panicked squawks. There's no dramatic music, only the panting of your Pokémon and the thud of a tackle attack that barely connects. You eventually manage to weaken it, and you throw a Pokeball with a shaky hand. It misses. You throw another. It connects, wobbles once, twice, 3 times, and clicks shut. You've just caught your second Pokémon. There is no surge of epic triumph, but a wave of profound relief, the feeling of having survived a genuinely stressful encounter. This is the grind. This is the reality of being a trainer, a repetitive cycle of encounter, battle, and capture, all in the service of getting just a little bit stronger. Then, after days of this, you see it on the horizon, Viridian City, or maybe Rustboro, your first major milestone. The city is a dizzying hub of activity. People rush past, each on their own journey, their own quest. The Pokémon Center is a sanctuary, a place of healing and quiet respite from the dangers of the routes. The white-clad nurse at the counter offers a gentle smile that feels like the first genuine reassurance you've had since you left home. Hearing that familiar chime as your Pokémon are restored to full health becomes one of the most comforting sounds in the universe. This is a moment of peace, but you know it's temporary, because the true purpose of your arrival looms over the city: the gym. The gym is an imposing structure, a temple dedicated to a specific type of combat. The moment you step inside, the atmosphere changes. It's darker, more serious. The trainers who work here are not the casual enthusiasts you met on Route 2. They are specialists, disciples of the gym leader, and they serve as the gatekeepers. Each battle is a puzzle, a test of your knowledge and adaptability. You finally reach the back of the gym, and there they are. The gym leader. They are larger than life, an icon you've only seen on posters. The battle that follows is the most intense fight of your life so far. It pushes you and your team to your absolute limit. Every command matters. Every potion is a critical decision. When your final attack lands and their last Pokémon faints, the silence that follows is deafening. Then, the leader smiles, acknowledges your strength, and presents you with the badge. It's warm in your hand, a small metallic token that represents a colossal achievement. This is the first taste of real victory, and it's intoxicating. Now, with new confidence, the journey continues. You start to think more strategically about your team. It's not just about having the strongest Pokémon, it's about building a balanced, cohesive unit. You spend an afternoon fishing for a Magikarp, knowing the immense potential locked inside that goofy, splashing creature. You venture into a dark cave, navigating by the dim light of a Geodude's glow, hoping to find a Zubat that will one day become a swift and powerful Crobat. Each new capture is a deliberate choice, an investment in your future. Your team of 6 starts to form its own social dynamic. Your starter acts as the leader, your second capture is the stoic powerhouse, another is the mischievous scout. You watch them interact when they're out of their Pokeballs, sharing berries, chasing each other around the campfire. They are not just your tools for battle, they are your companions, your family on this long, often lonely road. However, the glamour of the journey begins to fade into a grueling routine. You realize that traveling across a region on foot is an immense physical and logistical challenge. There are long, monotonous stretches of road with nothing but the same low-level Pokémon to battle for pocket money. There are days when it rains relentlessly, turning the path to mud and forcing you to huddle in a small tent, the smell of damp cloth filling the air. You learn to cook over a campfire, to patch your own clothes, to navigate by the stars. The financial reality of this life becomes starkly apparent. Potions are expensive. Antidotes, paralyze heals, awakenings, they all add up. Food for you and for 6 Pokémon is a constant expense. The money you earn from defeating other trainers is not for luxuries, it's for survival. This is the unglamorous truth of the Pokémon journey, the mid-journey slog that weeds out those who are only in it for the glory. And then there's your rival. This isn't a friendly competition. Every time you meet, it's a tense, often bitter confrontation. They are always one step ahead, their Pokémon a few levels higher, their strategy more refined, more ruthless. They seem to embody a different philosophy of training, one focused purely on power, and it often works. A battle with your rival is a brutal reality check. You might think you're getting strong, and then they show up and dismantle your team with cold efficiency. A loss to your rival is different from any other loss. It's personal. It forces you to go back to the drawing board, to question your methods, to train harder, to think smarter. These encounters are a crucible, forging your skills through the painful fire of defeat. That's why they are so crucial to your development, serving as the harsh mirror reflecting all of your weaknesses. But you persevere. You collect your 4th, 5th, then finally your 8th badge. Each one is a story, a scar, a memory of a hard-won battle. With your badge case full, you finally earn the right to challenge the Pokémon League. The journey there is the final test, Victory Road. It's a labyrinthine cave system, a gauntlet filled with the strongest wild Pokémon and the most elite trainers in the entire region. It's a microcosm of your entire journey, demanding every ounce of strength, strategy, and endurance you have. Navigating its dark tunnels, you feel the weight of your own growth. You are no longer the timid child who was scared of the tall grass. You are a seasoned trainer, a commander of a powerful and loyal team. Finally, you step out of the cave and into the sunlight, and there it is, the Pokémon League headquarters, a magnificent citadel standing against the sky. The air here is different, charged with anticipation and the echoes of legendary battles. You enter the hallowed halls and face your final challenge, the Elite Four. Each member is a master of a specific type, a living legend of the Pokémon world. The battles are back-to-back, a relentless assault on your team's stamina and your strategic mind. You can't go back to a Pokémon Center between fights. You have to rely on the items in your bag and the sheer will of your Pokémon. You defeat the first, then the second. By the third, your team is battered and bruised. The fourth battle is a desperate, nail-biting fight to the finish. And when you win, you think it's over. But it's not. There is one more person to beat, the champion. And of course, it's your rival, who beat the league just moments before you. The final battle is the culmination of everything. It's for the title, for bragging rights, for the validation of your entire journey and your philosophy as a trainer. It is the most difficult fight you have ever had, a chess match where every move could be the last. When their final Pokémon faints and yours is left standing with just a sliver of health, the world seems to stand still. You did it. You are the new champion of the Pokémon League. The celebration is a blur of flashing lights, praise from the former champion, and Professor Oak's proud congratulations. You are immortalized in the Hall of Fame. But what comes after the cheering stops? You stand alone in the quiet, ornate champion's room. Your Pokémon are healed, resting peacefully in their Pokéballs on your belt. The silence is profound. The goal that has driven you for months, maybe even years, is now achieved. There are no more gyms to conquer, no league to challenge. A strange emptiness begins to creep in. Being the champion, you discover, is a job. It involves paperwork, public appearances, and the constant duty of accepting challenges from new, hopeful trainers who want to take your spot. The thrill of the fight is replaced by the responsibility of the throne. The dynamic journey is replaced by a static defense. And that is when the final realization dawns on you. The title, the badges, the entry in the Hall of Fame, that was never the point. The real journey was the journey itself. It was in the quiet moments, watching the sunset with your Pikachu on your shoulder, sharing a meal with your Charizard by a crackling fire, the feeling of trust as your Lapras carries you across a vast ocean. The true meaning of being a Pokémon trainer was not in becoming the best, but in the becoming. It was about the bonds you forged, the family you built from a disparate group of creatures who chose to follow you. So you might quietly abdicate the champion's throne, leaving it for the next hungry challenger. You might decide to travel to a new, unexplored region, not for the badges, but for the discovery. Or perhaps you'll become a guardian, a quiet protector of a legendary Pokémon's resting place, your journey turning from one of personal ambition to one of selfless service. Your life as a Pokémon trainer never really ends. It just finds a new, quieter, and perhaps more meaningful path forward.